Alright, hey everyone. We got 2 of the buckets back. We're getting ready to boil. Spencer started the fire. We got this big aluminum pot we're going to use. And he is fishing out all the ice that we don't want. It's all water. We don't want the water. We want the sugar.
Yep.
So we are going to keep these, ice them out, and then keep them close to the fire to warm up a little bit, to speed up the boiling process.
Look how much ice that took out.
That is a lot.
That was almost full.
It's a lot.
I'll just do them both right now.
Okay. That one's not as icy at all.
That must have been one of the ones we already
iced, yeah. De-iced. Okay. I don't know how we're gonna hold this.
Show them here. Oh, you guys can't really see the level.
Oh yeah, they can.
Can you see it? Oh yeah. That's how low it is right now. We gotta scrape some of that foam out quick.
And what did you say the foam was?
All the impurities.
All the impurities.
So any kind of dirt or whatever that got left over, you guys can see. Someone driving. We're at our house. We live in the city still. I'm getting smoke in my eyes over there.
I know, that's how I moved.
You can show them the cinder block.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we bought this little stand at Walmart for, what was it, 20 bucks?
Yeah.
Seems to be working pretty good. And then we set up all these cinder blocks around to let some air in. Some are different ways. And it's been working really good. It's holding the heat in. And then he can even move this one out of the way when we, need to fill it. We had a couple trees fall down in the backyard. And some were dead. So we cut all those down. So luckily we had wood that we can use. Slow down, can we?
Since this one wasn't full, I'm just gonna put it on.
So, I got these strainers thinking they would do a wonderful job. And then I realized...
Your chin's blocking it.
Is it? My fat chin. Then I realized that this one gets a lot more out than this one because the holes are bigger.
Yeah, but it does work good for the ice.
So that's why, you guys, if you were wondering why I have 2 in my hand, it's just so this one gets the bigger stuff, this gets smaller stuff. Boop, boop.
So here's what it looks like now. Some foam to scrape off. You want to scrape it?
Yeah. So, this isn't really our first batch.
Yeah.
We did a trial run, that's why the pot's a little black. With, what was it?
Yeah,
5 gallons?
Yeah, like 8. We did like 8 just to know how we needed to do it. It didn't end up coming out great. It was a little thin, I think, because I second guessed and took it off early thinking I was going to burn it, but hopefully we get it just right now. We should be good.
So Spencer is adding wood to the fire because we're gonna head in for a sec. What did you say? You'd come out every what? 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, 15 minutes to a half hour.
And put more fire on, check what the sap's looking like.
You want to keep this like at a low boil. That's how we figured it goes best, and then bring it in when it gets really dark brown. But you don't want it too dark and burn it, but we'll show you when we get there. We brought the pot in now, as you can see, and out of 50 gallons, what's left in the bottom is all that's left. This is what I was saying, the color you want it to get to. It's hard to do with the light here, but you want it to be like a copper color. Yeah, does that help? Helps a little, honestly.
A flashlight would work. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so we got about, what would you say, 2 or 3 gallons left. We got a gallon in there. You can see, oh, steamy. You can see it already where it was on the sides right there. So it's already went down probably a ½ an inch. Well, we'll check back with you when we're adding more. This has been going on for about an hour and a half, and we just had to add, how much was that? A pint more? We need a little more. Well, everybody, I don't know if we mentioned in the last video, methods for storing the sap when it is outside. It's only good for, they say 7 days after, but I've read other people say they've had it up to 10 days, but it all depends on what you trust in. And it has to be stored at 40 degrees or below, so it has to just stay cool. So as long as you keep it cool, it should be just fine. And every so often when this builds up, just like you would have done outside, you have to scrape this off.
Okay, in order to get it out of this big pot, I put it in here, and then we filter it out with the cheesecloth into the other pot. So, let's get her grabbing. I need you to get it, actually. I can't reach.
She cannot reach.
Can't reach.
Ow.
Ow, it was the glass. Could you guys be quiet?
Relax. That was for Billy. I wish I could reach in there. You slow poke.
Oh, jeez. Alright.
Alright, now let's put the cheesecloth over it.
You need the...
Yeah, I do.
It's a new hair tie, don't worry.
It's a new used.
That was good. There you go.
Give me that bad boy. Under the handle. I can tell it's new because I can't get it over the foot.
Come on. What are you guys doing?
Okay, I think she's on there. So, this will be our first or second filter.
Yeah.
And then we'll filter them a third time into the bottles. Yee. Alright, let's do it 80 more times. So we went ahead and transferred all the sap that was in the big pot into this smaller, bigger pot. And so this will get the sap warming up to speed up the process of finishing it.
So there are 3 methods of seeing when your sap is done and ready to be syrup. I'm going to go over the thermometer method. We have this candy thermometer. It's not marked or anything for syrup. I've seen a lot of people's were. So our water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit here, and 7 degrees above that is when it will be syrup. Now, what we were confused with when we started was, so what, we just hit 219 degrees and it turns into syrup just like that? And it's not like that. You have to leave it at a consistent low boil, which would for us would be 212 degrees. And once this, the volume of sap drops down, the temperature will start rising. And we'll show you when we get to that point all the bubbles that are going to be coming. It's a ton of little bubbles, and they really start building up, and if you let them go too long, they're going to overflow. And I've never had to clean it up, but I hope I never have to from what I hear from other people. This has been going on for about an hour and a half, and we just had to add, how much was that? A pint more? We need a little more.
One way you know it's pretty close to done is taste it. It's really sweet.
It is really sweet.
It's pretty awesome, actually. And if you taste it at first, and then you taste it again once you get it down to the boil, and then you taste it, the after product, it's really, you really see the difference it makes. Ours tastes just like marshmallows, I swear.
Look at all the sugar.
It's all the sugar.
This is at 205.
And the fire, it's probably the fire's taste, smell, you know what I mean? Like s'mores over the fire.
Yeah, that could be. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last night we ended up getting tired and wanting to go to bed, so we just filled this. It was about full up to here. We put it in the fridge to stay cool so we could finish today. And there's nothing left in there, and this is all we got left, 50 gallons right there.
This is another method of testing if your maple syrup is done.
The best method.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people
The
do a
most
thermometer.
tested, I feel.
And
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people just use the dip method too. Old men.
old men. But I figured I would get one to try it out. I mean, it was kind of pricey. Each one was what, like
22 for
22
the test cup,
for the cup?
25 for the hydrometer.
25 for the hydrometer. So
Could be bugs.
this is the test cup right here. And then this is the hydrometer. The hydrometer is made out of glass. You have to be really careful with it or it'll break. I've used one before in chemistry class, and I wish I would have paid a little more attention.
But now,
Yeah, now I know. I've done my research. So our goal here is to get in between these two lines. If you put your maple syrup in the cup and then you drop this down and it is above these two lines, above the 60, then your maple syrup will have a chance of spoiling. It'll be undercooked, not cooked all the way.
like our first batch.
Yeah, we did a first batch and we didn't have the hydrometer. We did the thermostat method, and it was like 3:30 in the morning.
Thermometer.
Or yeah, the thermometer, not the thermostat. Working on cars. The thermometer method, and we did our first batch, and it ended up spoiling. So I figured I'd get the hydrometer and try this one out. So most people try to make it to the line because then you can make the most for your money, because you'd have less sugar content. The higher you go down, or I guess the more you go down with it, the higher concentration of sugar you'll have. So if you go above this line, it'll start to crystallize when it sits.
You can make maple sugar.
You can make maple
Which we
sugar.
wanna do.
Yes, there's a lot of things you can do with maple. I've been told that I have to make maple syrup, maple sugar, and maple donuts. That were my requests. So hopefully we can figure that all out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some maple syrup in the cup, and I'm going to show you guys what ours is at right now.
I've seen it overflow easy.
Yeah.
don't think we
Our
wanna-
goal is to leave a space about 2 inches at the
Yeah,
top.
right there.
Let's look at it.
Can you see in there?
No.
Nope.
This is so hard.
Sorry, folks.
Okay, everyone. We just checked it. And it looks like we are there. We're gonna let it go a little longer just because we want ours a little thicker. That's all. You guys can do your preference, whether you want a higher sugar content, lower sugar content. And just know that if it's above, the higher it is on the hydrometer, the less sugar content, and the lower it is, the higher sugar content. Okay, everyone. So in order to clean our jars, to put the maple syrup in, we use a really good ratio that's been working is 20 to 1. So 20 parts water to 1 part bleach I have here in my hefty bucket. I got all the jars we're going to use, the lids in here. we got more that I got to transfer in here too as well. But so I just let them soak in here, then I'll scrub them with my sponge, and then I will rinse them 3 times. Three times. That should do the trick. Just make sure they're all nice and clean. All the chemicals and everything are out of there. And then we transfer them over to a kitchen towel to dry. Gonna try the dip method. I don't know what I'm looking for.
Well, we almost missed it. You guys didn't see it, but you see where that's up to? The bubbles almost went over. I'd have blamed it on you. But we're good now. We're going to jar it up, and we'll show you the finished product.
Okay, so we decided to just go with the cheesecloth because that's what we had. But a lot of people use what are called sheets, maple sheets. At least that's what I've read and I've seen. Is they're nylon, have smaller holes, and they use it to the last filter they do into the jar is used to filter out what is called maple sand.
Yeah, the maple sand, and that's just minerals that are left over from the boiling process, and they're completely edible, so we don't mind if some are in there. As long as they're edible and they don't hurt us, that's all that matters.
Yep. And I guess now would be a good time to add in, so say you were to mess up the batch and maybe you didn't cook it all the way, or you cooked it too long and it started to crystallize and stuff. Crystallizing, I'm pretty sure a lot of people use it at that temperature and texture is to make sugars. You can cook it up higher to make your sugars. But one really cool thing I read was when you it spoils, you didn't get to it soon enough or you didn't cook it long enough, is a lot of people will put that in their gardens. It'll help give nutrients to your gardens and stuff. I also did read that you could just take the sap from the trees itself and drink it. You can also add it
I
to...
read Native Americans used to do it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool here. And then you can also add it to teas, like replace the water for teas, replace the water for coffees, replace your water for, like, if you were to cook rice or noodles. It was a cool thing to hear, like, survival skill.
Yeah, it's good to know for camping or anything.
Yeah, just in case we ever get stranded somewhere.
Well, everybody, this is what we ended up with. We got about a little over a gallon, because these make a gallon, and we got 2 little ones of these. We ate some of this one. Showed a little closer to you. And I gave one to my parents for letting us tap the trees there. You can see some are a little darker, but we boiled some for a little longer, and some for not as long. But I think we'll be satisfied with it. Thank you guys for stopping by. Please check out our Facebook page and feel free to leave a comment as well, because like we said, this is our first year doing it. We'd like to hear anything you guys have to say.